Yo, what's poppin', guys? Sizzle here, and today we're taking a look at the Hydra case. So, first things first, we have the UMP45 Metal Flowers, which has skulls and petals in a metal fashion. And otherwise, it's just stock UMP, like it doesn't apply to the whole thing. It basically just looks like stock half the time. You'd have to really look at it to even see the design. And even then, the design's kind of shit. So for me, it's an easy F tier. Just don't use this. Use stock instead. It's really that simple. Next up, we have the Mag 7 Hard Water. And I'm having a hard time looking at this skin because what is this? It's like a camo skin, maybe, with some really shit color choices. The only kind of cool part is the light blue tip and top, but otherwise, this looks completely horrible. Actually, stock just looks better, just outright. There's no reason to ever use the skin. Get out of here. Next up, we have the FAMAS Macabre, which has like a desert type of hexagon thing with some skulls on it. Looks pretty bad, but I guess it's a bit better than stock, and the kind of wear looks yellow for some reason, which is very weird. I don't know what to feel about that. Um, Looks pretty bad, but not completely unusable, so I'm gonna put this in D tier. Very low D tier though. It's not a good skin. Next up, we have the Mac 10 Aloha, which is just some flowers with a really, really poorly designed color scheme to the point where you can barely even see the design. I guess it's a little better than stock, because the flower design's actually well made, but like you can barely see it. I don't know why they chose like the darkest colors on planet Earth to make this, but it doesn't look good. I'd honestly rather use that FAMAS, and that's kind of saying a lot because that FAMAS was not very good. Next up, we have the Tec-9 Cut Out. This should be cut out of the game. I can't go too hard on these skins, but really, like this looks like stock on the entire bottom of the skin, and then the top has like a really uninspired design. I don't know what it is, but it's just not good. It's black and white. It doesn't look like it was made for the skin, and it doesn't work very well. Just stick to stock. This Tec-9 is horrible. Yeah. Next up, we have the M4A1-S Briefing, which has that kind of heist plan applied to it with a very unique color scheme of red, dark blue, and then the actual main design is like tan and dark blue. It's you can kind of see the designs. Right? You can see B site and A site and like some type of stuff for the map. So it's all right in that regard, but the actual design's kind of not that good, especially on this weapon. And it's still a very dark skin, so you'd have a hard time distinguishing those features, other than maybe the A and B sites, since they're in such a vibrant red. Um, and I'm sure this one's pattern based, but it's still very much a D tier for me. It's not that good looking of a skin. Next up, we have the USPS Blueprint. It's a very, very solid USPS, sorry. Just a very nice light blue-ish redesign, very vibrant color blue, and then it has like a kind of blueprint, kind of graph paper type lines on it. It just looks really clean. You can get this cheap, and it doesn't have a lot of scratches. This is a really nice looking skin that you definitely can't go wrong with. Not gonna say it's super amazing or anything, but you definitely can't go wrong with it if you get it nice like this. And yeah, next up is our first purple, the SSGO8 Death's Head. I don't know what this has to do with death or heads. This almost looks like an explosion of like Cheeto dust, maybe. I don't know what the heck is going on here. There's a bunch of colors randomly mixed together. It's kind of like one of those paintings where someone just throws paint at a board and sees what happens, like completely randomly. It doesn't look good at all, and the scope isn't even colored the same shit tier design that's on the skin. I would honestly just stick to stock yet again. This is just a really bad looking skin. I guess it's a bit more inspired than the other three down F tier, but honestly, it's just bad. Just don't use it. Next up is the P2000 Woodsman, which is a camo. It's a wood camo on a P2000. I'm not a fan of camo skins, but for those who are, this one's okay, probably. But I'm not a fan of them, so for me it's a low D tier, but at least it has something. Just a lot more than most of the other skins in this collection. Then we have the P250 Red Rock, um, which I don't know what this has to do with red rocks. I don't know what this design has to do with anything on this skin, but otherwise it's like a DD pat with a kind of unique color scheme. Pretty much looks like shit in my opinion. Maybe it's Tetris actually. Could be Tetris. I don't know what this is. That's the main problem here. I don't know what this is. Someone singing this game isn't gonna know what this is, and the colors are very similar in brightness and everything, so it's very hard to even notice the design. Especially if you just glance at this thing. It's pretty bad, but I guess it's a bit better than stock. I'll give it that maybe, but it's still very low D tier. Next up is the P90 Death Grip. Now, this one I know has a very unique Easter egg where as the wear gets worse, it gets these skeleton hands like you can see in the back. So if this is like Battle Scarred, instead of a bunch of human hands, it's going to have a bunch of skeleton hands, which is really, really cool. Um, but that's about all that's going for it. When it's in skeleton hand form, it actually gets a black background too, and it just looks really, really clean. So in skeleton hand form, this is a really good skin. In non-skeleton hand form, it's probably still a C tier skin that you can't go wrong with. I do really like this P90 skin. I'm going to put it in the B tier for when it's in skeleton hand form, which I'm not really going to show in this video because that's a lot of effort, and I'm not a fan of doing that. And our final purple is the AK-47 Orbit MK01. Which is like maybe a red redesign of the skin. It's got some unique design choices to it that make it seem like something else. I can't think of what that would be in my head. Maybe someone in the description can tell me what I'm thinking of, because I literally don't know how to describe what I'm looking at here. But it's mediocre. I'd say you can't really go wrong with this skin. The color of red used is really nice, and the base design isn't like completely horrible. So it's a solid C tier, probably below the Blueprint, because that was actually a pretty solid one. Then our first pink is the Galil AR Sugar Rush, which is just a pink and light blue Galil with some other designs that you're never gonna really see in game. The white top and front are a bit off-putting. I think it would have been nicer just to have it as a pink and blue skin across the whole thing. It makes this look a lot more worn than it is, which maybe that's what they were going for with the design. But I'm a fan of more pristine, kind of clean-looking skins, and this isn't really that clean. It's a pretty dirty skin, but it has a very unique kind of cotton candy type color scheme, which looks actually pretty nice. I'd say you still can't really go wrong with that, so it's a C tier for me. Next up, we have the Red 5.7 Hyper Beast. I don't know why there's extra skins in this collection. It's kind of weird. But we have the 5.7 Hyper Beast. Like every other Hyper Beast, this was clearly made with the skin in mind. You'd see the mouth kind of opening up right around this curve right here, and the rest of the skin just looks dope as fuck. I'm a really big fan of Hyper Beast, and this one does a really good job with it. So for me, it's actually pretty easy top of B tier. I still don't think it's an A tier skin, as much as I do like the Hyper Beast skins. And our final skin here, unless I'm missing something, which I don't think I am. Oh, I am. Okay, I missed two whole skins. So let me go back, actually. There's two pinks that I missed. We have the dual Berettas Cobalt Strike, which has a nice kind of serpent here, which goes very well with the Hydra, kind of theme. It has some like green acid water at the top for some reason, and the rest of it looks almost like a snake kind of snake scales, and then a very nice kind of snake-like color scheme. It actually looks kind of nice because the top is very vibrant, draws your eyes to that, and the rest of the design is just a very solid, well-done snake design. I'd say this is honestly probably C tier. You can't go too wrong with it, except probably for the price that this is. You can go wrong with it a little bit, but this tier list doesn't really take price into account. And then we have the M4A1-S Hellfire, which actually looks hella dope. They had this cool ass demon design, a bunch of flames with skulls in the back, some chains and stuff. The demon tail coming out here that came actually through here. I actually really love the design of this. This is a really funny looking demon, and the rest of it has like themes of like hell on it, which is really cool. I actually really like the design of this skin. Glad I came back and looked at it. Probably an A tier skin. I can't really put this in S tier, justifiably, but this is a really nice looking M4 skin. And the actual final skin of this collection is the Op Onitaji, I believe is how you say it. There's a very nice Japanese samurai guy in the middle fighting a demon on the back. And then the rest of it has this kind of nice blue patterns to it. I think that's blue. Could be purple maybe, but it's like a darker blue in my opinion. Along the top and the front of the barrel, so the whole skin is being used, and the actual artwork is really dope. But on an op skin where you're going to be looking like this, and you're not going to see this back part, you're just going to see a samurai looking back at you, and then some blue design everywhere. It's gonna be still really solid. I think it's still an easy B tier, but I don't think it's as dope as the Hellfire, which just looks amazing. Honestly, actually, I'm gonna move up the Hellfire to S tier, move the Hyperbeast to A tier, and I think that's actually a better look at this type of tier list. Actually, do that. Yeah, I think this is a better way to have the Hydra tier list. Most of the skins in this collection were actually kind of shit tier, but it has some real bangers on the other side of that. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you in the next one.